Hey DIYers, you ever seen anybody use one of these and make it look so easy? Well, it can be with a few tips and tricks. And that's what I'm here to do, to give you those tips and tricks so you can use one of these very easily. So I was watching a YouTube video of a pretty famous person doing some home improvements. I won't say who, but I really respect the guy. Does a great job, and I've learned a lot from him. But I saw him really struggling with this, and I had to laugh because the first time I got one of these, I did the same thing. So I thought, you know what, why not make a video and show people how to use it? It is very easy to use, and once you get the hang of it, it's a great little tool. Now in the video, when he was doing it, he was putting it up here, putting it across, and then trying to use his utility knife to cut it and making a god-awful mess while doing it. It's really that easy. And I want to show you how to use it and some tips and tricks on how to use it so you can go out and buy you one for your next painting job and use it and get a professional looking outcome. So what is this little tool? Well, it's a 3M hand masker. It's actually called the 3M M3000 hand masker. And you can use it with plastic or you can use it with paper and use it to mask off things that you don't want to get paint on. And it does a fabulous job once you get the hang of it. These can be bought anywhere, and I'll have a link down below if you want to get one, but you can get them with or without the blade. Make sure you look at that because some of them are packaged without the blade, and you definitely want the blade with it. And the same blade can be used for paper and for plastic. Now I know that sounds silly, but when I first got mine, some of the wording on it made it sound like you needed a different one for the plastic versus the paper. Not true. One blade will do both. And you can get replacement blades, so if it goes dull or breaks, you can get another one. And they come in many different sizes. I mean, you can get the paper from, I think, 4-inch all the way up to 12 or 14 inches. The plastic comes in about the same size roll, but it can go from 4 feet clear to 9 feet. In fact, with the plastic, if you got it loaded up and you don't remember what size you put on, typically it has the size printed right on the plastic, so you can take a quick look and go, oh, this is a 9-footer. It can be used with 1-inch, 1.5-inch, and 2-inch tape. You just gotta make sure you do the adjustments right so it works. Ask me how I know. So I actually have two of them. I have one for plastic and one for paper. It also comes with this nice little belt loop or pocket loop, whatever you want to use it in. It comes very handy. They're the same M3000, but there's just a hair difference. But the difference between these two is this one here has a little roller on the end so that it fits at the end of your paper, your plastic, to hold it straight, whereas this one does not. But the blades are the same length and everything else about them is the same. So I used the snot out of these when I was painting my house, and that's the reason I got two of them, because I got tired of switching between the paper and the plastic, and so it just made it much easier. Maybe you'll want to do that if you've got a project that you're going to be doing a lot of paper and plastic, and you can get two of them. That way you can save you a little time. So first let's talk about the blade adjustment. I didn't realize when I bought mine that there was adjustment for the tape, and for the longest time it was set on a 1-inch. I used 1.5 inches and having a devil of a time, and that's why I was laughing when I saw that video of him using it, because it brought back the memories of, well, not fond memories anyway. Yeah, this blade pops off of here. As you can see, it has markings right here as to which tape size goes with which hole. For the 1-inch tape, how this is going to work, narrow your tape, the further the blade's going to be over this direction, because your tape's going to fit here. And so you'll see as we put wider tape on, you need it to go this direction. And one other thing these come with that I have since taken off, because they wind up tearing off anyway, is it has a little guard up here to kind of protect your hand from the blade, which is very sharp, but after a few uses it breaks off anyway. So you just need to line these holes up with whatever size tape you have and snap it into place on this pin right here. If you got 1-inch tape, or they'll say 18mm, because a lot of it, that's where it'll go. It'll snap in, and you see your tape will roll up on here, come right to this edge, and cut it right off. For me, I put it on the 2-inch tape mark just because I switch between 1.5 inch and 2-inch, but a lot of professionals will wind up using the 1-inch, and I'm just not that good at it, I guess. And then this other hole down here, for reals, I'll show you on the other one that has the little cap on the end you can use. There's another little clip that pops in there. See on this one, that hole right there is for this to clip into. Now let's load up the tape. That can actually be the pain in the butt of this whole thing, is with the tape. It actually has printed on here the direction the tape needs to go, so it makes it pretty idiot proof. It just pushes right on there. You grab your tape, it needs to go underneath this little pin here, and then it'll come up and over and slide underneath this little lever here that holds your paper down. The hardest part of doing it is getting the tape under here without it sticking to everything trying to do it. So what I typically do is I take and fold it over just a little bit, slide it under, and then up we go. So now let's load up your paper or your plastic and get the tape and get it all set and ready to go. So when you load your paper or your plastic, you're going to want to load so that it rolls off of the top and not from underneath. It'll slide over this pin here that has 2 pieces of wire that are kind of set like a spring that clamp out and hold it in place. So you just slide your paper over like that. This roller comes down on top of it. Actually what it does is it causes the tape to be pushed down on your paper, your plastic, as you're rolling it out. It makes it all nice and smooth. How to tear your materials. It's pretty easy. When you do it, just kind of give it a little twist, tears right off. Don't try to tear it by pulling back like this. It can be way harder. Well, it did at that time. When you go do the plastic, it won't tear. This is where it gets fun. So again, get your tape on in the right direction, get it underneath here, make sure your tape's all the way on, and make sure your tape is all the way back against here. And what I tend to do is to get the end of my paper, my plastic, right up next to this little lever here. I just hold the paper, use my index finger to hold up the pin so the tape can go under it, pull my tape up, stick it on there, roll it under, and we're set. So now some tips on how to use it to get the best outcome that you can. One of them is when you're all done, instead of leaving it like this to flap in the breeze, I usually just pull a little bit out and then tape it down to the edge of the masker just like that, and it holds it in place for me. When you're putting this on, a couple of things. One, you want to pull in a straight direction. Don't pull up like this and don't pull down like that, because if you do, it will cause the tape to come off. And then it's a real pain in the butt to get it back on and get it going again. And the other thing is if you pull down too much like this, it's liable to tear your paper. And the same thing, your tape will come off, it'll start to get folds in your tape, and there you get this ugly mess that doesn't work. And now you gotta redo your paper. And once you've loaded this a few times, it's pretty easy to do. You want the tape to be half on your paper or your plastic and the other half hanging off the tape to whatever you're taping to. So as you're doing it, put it on, just pull down, and when you're ready, paper is very easy to cut. Another little painting tip when you're using this. Let's say I don't want paint below here. What I would do is I would take, you can take inch, inch and a half, 2 inch, whatever you want. I'd take the painter's tape, put it on here first. That way when I start my paper, my plastic, I don't have to get right up perfect to the edge. I can get within an inch or so, put it on there, come across, and as you're rolling it out, you just take your other hand across the tape to hold it down. That way, when you go to tape it down, you can just do like that. It's simple, it's easy, it's quick. Now, with your plastic, like I say, it's a little harder to cut, but after a few times, you'll get the hang of it. Again, you put it where you want it, come behind with your other hand to put the tape down. When you're ready to cut this you kind of have to give it a little snap. You'll just take your plastic, pull it down, put your tape over to hold it, and you're all set. This 3M plastic anyway comes with a static charge so that it'll kind of stick to stuff as you're doing it so it doesn't fly all around. But let me tell you, in a wind of any kind, a decent wind, it will blow. Static isn't that strong. When your paper and your plastic is getting close to the end, it doesn't just roll out to the end of the roll in a nice even manner. What they've got is they've got it wrapped back up on there, and so when you get to the end it's a mess and you wind up wasting probably a good foot to 18 inches of it, and there's nothing you can do about it. So just realize that. Now, one other tip I want to show you is when you're using your plastic. Taping off this window, see how nice and easy that was? See that little flick of the wrist? Good sharp cut, straight line. Say you don't need all of this. Well, either A, leave it rolled up in there like this and take your tape and tape it nice and neat. You get the tape off right away, it doesn't stick and tear the plastic. If you wait any bit of time, it tears it and you're done. The other thing you can do is say you're at the end of your plastic, instead of trying to cut this stuff, again, just roll it up underneath there, tape it, roll the rest of your plastic up underneath there, tape across, all done, no cutting, no worry about ripping it, easy peasy. So I hope these tips helped on using this hand masker and won't get you scared to use it or buy one to use it. Or if you already have one and you're having frustrations with it, it'll help take care of all those. So what I've shown you, you won't need a utility knife to cut it anymore. You can do it all with this. That way you can get your project masked off and get to painting faster and get it done quicker. So if you like this tip, you want to see how I use it to paint my own house, there's a playlist right here you can go watch. And don't be afraid to get out there and DIY the shit out of it. So until next time, happy DIYing.